Hey everyone, it's Taylorverse, and welcome back to I Hate Myselfie by Shane Dawson. The mean girl got fat. You know when you're watching a terrible sitcom and something completely unrealistic happens to the main character and you're forced to suspend all disbelief until the show's over? Actually, that's every sitcom episode ever made. One day I lived out one of my childhood fantasies and got to be the lead character in the shittiest sitcom ever created. My life. It started as a pretty typical day. I got up 2 hours early to straighten my embarrassing long hair. I needed it to look extra stylish in preparation for my new position. I worked at a weight loss center, and I had been promoted from a counselor to a salesperson. The difference was that when you were a counselor, you would weigh the client and offer a little bit of wisdom. When you were a salesperson, you would introduce them to the program and beg them to give you their money and then hand them off to someone else to deal with. It may sound like salesperson would have been an uncomfortable job, but being a counselor was way more uncomfortable considering most clients like to take off all their clothes at the scale and give you a big naked hug if they'd lost a pound. Knowing that today I wasn't going to have to hug another naked, frizzy-haired soccer mom while some Kenny G song played on the lobby sound system made my life feel so much more worth living. I finished my hair, got into my tiny car, and practiced my sales pitch while driving to work. As I walked into the center, I was assaulted by my coworker Mag. She threw me into her office and locked the door. Mag, what's going on? Nothing. Want a donut? They're filled. You dragged me in here for a donut? No. I dragged you in here for a filled donut. This wasn't odd behavior for Mag. She was a loud, outrageous, hilariously outspoken old Jew with a thick New Jersey accent and enough perfume to cover up the scent of a dead body rotten in her basement. Which, by the way, is the reason she gave me for why she wore so much perfume. She was also a cancer survivor and would tell you so every chance she got. Sometimes when a client would complain about gaining a pound, she would tell them, at least you have both your breasts. I have to draw on my second nipple with an eyebrow pencil. She really knew how to give her clients some perspective. No thanks. I gave up donuts a while ago. Come on, live a little. You know what happens when guys cut out sugar? They lose weight? Yeah, they murder their wives and children. I heard about it on Dr. Oz. Well, I'm not married and I have no kids, so I'll take my chances. So, you nervous about your first day as a salesman? Listen, if they don't give you their money, take down their information and steal their identity. There's nothing like taking a me day at the spa and pretending like, pretending to be some bitch you hate. You do that? You a cop? Why are you asking so many questions? I just don't want to mess up. This is a big deal, you know? Honey, if you mess up, you can just dust yourself off and try again. It's like I tell my clients, if you gained weight this week, just go home, have yourself a good cry and a donut, and start over tomorrow. You tell your clients to eat donuts? Of course, your body needs sugar. It's like air but filled. How many of your clients has actually lost all their weight? None. Donut? Shit. Hello. Oh no. Oh no. Stab it. Mag wasn't the best counselor. Hell, she was the worst. But she made up for it with her spirit. She probably should have been fired for not getting her clients to lose weight, but they loved coming in to see her so much that it didn't really matter. It was a business after all, and the bosses didn't really care about weight loss. They just wanted customers to keep coming back. I walked out of Mag's office and into the lobby, where I saw an overweight young woman sitting nervously reading a magazine. I hadn't seen her before, so I knew she was a new customer. The first thing I had been trained to do when a new customer came in was to greet them and hand them a health sheet to fill out. So I grabbed one and took a deep breath and walked up to my first potential sale. Hi there, my name is Shane. What's your name? Lacey. As she took the health sheet out of my hand, we locked eyes. I turned white as a ghost. I knew Lacey. I instantly had a flashback to 2 years prior when I was sitting in my high school biology class passing back a stack of tests to the girl behind me. It was Lacey. She was thin, beautiful, and everything that terrified me about women. She was a cheerleader with a 4.0 grade point average and more sexual experience than the sex ed teacher. One time she corrected him because he said the vagina only had 3 inches of filling and she had proof of it that was 9. She was a mean girl in every sense of the word. Every day she would ask me questions about my outfit or my appearance. Not because she was curious, but because she was trying to make her horrible friends laugh. Here's a sample conversation from 2006. Where'd you get that shirt? It's super sexy. Walmart, I think. Wow, really? I never would have guessed that. I love the way it highlights your back muscles. How often do you go to the gym to get back muscles like that? You have like a 6-pack back there. I didn't have back muscles. The bitch was referring to the rolls of fat that were squished underneath my shirt between my shoulder blades and ass. She was a soulless demon monster and was now sitting before me, 300 pounds and potentially my first sale. Fill this out. I'll be right back. I casually ran to my office and slammed the door. I started hyperventilating into a brown lunch bag like a cartoon character having a panic attack. Mag walked in to the room and tried to calm me down. What's going on? Here, have some casserole. I was too panicked to ask how she had managed to procure a vat of piping hot casserole with no oven in sight. Only a disgusting decades-old microwave stuck in a dusty corner of the employees' break room. All I could think about was how my ex-high school enemy was sitting 100 feet away from me. That girl out there. Oh, yeah, sorry the donut stop earlier. Bitch took all the jellies. She's spit it out. I got shit to do. Oprah's on in 5 minutes and she's interviewing a woman whose face was ripped off by an ape. I only have 4 minutes and 59 seconds to finish my casserole. That girl made my life hell in high school. What'd she do? Swoop up all the tater tots in the cafeteria before you could? No, she was the skinny hot cheerleader who reminded me how fat I was every day. She was a hot cheerleader? Wow, did she eat the mascot? I don't know what to do. Did she recognize you? No. Well, then get revenge on that pom-pom twirling cunt. What do you mean? Sign her up, then give her to me as a client. I'll make sure she doesn't lose the weight. Hey, I can even get her fatter. I'll tell her that she should do the mayo and cream cheese diet. It might even kill her. I don't know. Okay, well, you figure it out. I gotta go. Ape face is on. I took a deep breath and walked back out to the lobby. Lacey was finished filling out her health sheet, so I walked her back to the scale and we made small talk. So, what brings you in today? I just need to get off of the funk. Shoosh. All this baby weight. Baby weight? She had a baby? The plot was thickening, and this had just gone from a sitcom to a Diablo Cody movie. I don't know who the fuck that is. Or do I? I don't know. Except with less witty banter and more sad fat tears. Does your husband know you're here? Oh, I don't have one. Single parent at 20? This had just gone from Diablo Cody movie to an MTV reality show. Except with less weave snatching, but the same number of sad fat tears. As I turned on the scale, she looked at it with fear in her eyes. I started feeling less intimidated by her. She wasn't the evil queen bee I hid from in school. She was a sad girl who had been through a lot of hardships since then. I didn't quite know how to deal with this revelation. I wanted to cry, but I also wanted to punch her in the face for calling me 6-pack back fat for 4 years. But from the looks of it, life had already punched her in the face, and then kicked her while she was down. We went back to my office and sat down. She teared up and I handed her a tissue. So, tell me a little bit about why you want to lose the weight. Well, after I found out I was pregnant, I fell into a depression. I just started eating everything around me. My boyfriend left me when he found out about the baby. It's fine, he was an asshole anyways. I was only with him because he was the only guy I'd ever been with in high school. I guess I was too scared to leave. She was right. He was an asshole. Her boyfriend had been a football-playing douchebag and had also made my life miserable. One time, he started a rumor I had herpes. Not from sex, but from a dirty toilet seat that I'd sat on at Del Taco. The sad part is that it's totally possible. I used a lot of toilets at a lot of Del Tacos. Sometimes your body can't wait till you get home. Has no one informed Shane that you can't get herpes and any other STD from toilet seats? What made you want to lose the weight now? I'm tired of hiding. I haven't seen any of my friends for over a year because I don't want them to see me like this. I was scared to even come today because I thought maybe someone would recognize me. I usually take care of the baby and ask my mom to go out and get groceries and stuff. I don't even remember the last time I did something fun on the weekend. I wanted to tell Lacey who I was, but I was afraid it would make her run away. So instead I listened and tried to explain to her how the weight loss program worked. We talked for about an hour, and it was time for me to assign her to a counselor. Mag walked past the door of my office with a big smile on her face. She couldn't wait to get her evil hands on Lacey and fill her up like a human eclair. But I couldn't do that. I ended up giving her a counselor who would actually help her lose weight. I walked Lacey out to her car. Before she got in, I broke the news to her. Lacey, I want to tell you something. Is everything okay? I'm Shane, from high school. It took her a few minutes, but then it hit her like a truck full of mayo and cream cheese. Oh my God, wow, you're skinny. Yeah, thanks. I just wanted you to know that I'm not mad for how you treated me in high school. How did I treat you? The way I used to treat a toilet at Del Taco. Wow, that bad? Yeah, you don't remember? Not really. I kind of blocked out those 4 years. High school was terrible. Every day I hoped I would get trampled to death by the school band. And you know what? In band, you are taught to trample people if you're in their way, so if she had just walked over in the way of where the fucking marks were in the show of said band, she would have been trampled. And if she hadn't got up, it would have been to death. She could have easily had that happen. Band kids are taught to trample people. That way you don't ruin the show. We are taught how to get the fuck out of the way if you do happen to trip, so you don't get trampled to death. That would have been so easy to accomplish. What? But you were popular and hot. Thanks. I mean, not that you weren't hot now. I'm just saying, in high school, your life was great. It's funny. Everybody always thinks that. I guess I put on quite a good act. Yeah, I guess you did. She reached out and hugged me. If Lacey from 2 years ago had known that one day she would be giving me a hug, I'm sure she would have vomited all over her pom-poms. I'm sorry I was such a bitch to you. It's okay. I guess we all hated high school, didn't we? Yeah. She got in her car and drove off. I was upset she didn't remember how horribly she treated me, but I guess I never thought about her reasons for doing so. She must have been dealing with a lot of issues that made her take out her anger on me. It doesn't make it right, but it makes it slightly understandable. Either way, I just had my first successful sale on my first day as a salesperson, and I felt seriously accomplished. I walked right into Mag's office and sat down next to her. You want a donut? Hell yeah. My girl space friends. I'm not really what most would consider a manly man. Hell, I don't even really consider myself a man at all. I'm more of a woman with man parts. Kind of like that scene in Toy Story where that asshole kid makes a toy out of a Barbie's torso with a G.I. Joe's limbs. I'm pretty sure that's how God made me. He probably had an oops pile full of body parts and decided to throw them all together to make a human gumbo. Because my brain and heart skew more feminine, I was always surrounded by girlfriends. Yes, that space was intentional. I never had a girlfriend until I was in my early 20s, but up until then, I had an ever-changing collection of girl-spaced friends. Is there always going to be, space in words? I met my first girl-spaced friend when I was 6 years old, and her name was Kaylee. We lived in a few houses apart from each other and hung out pretty much every day after school. We had very similar interests, like playing with Barbies, watching Mrs. Doubtfire on a loop. Oh, that was my fucking jam when I was little. It still is, man. Oh, fuck. That hurt my heart. Oof. I can't remember if Mrs. Doubtfire or Jumanji was my first Robin Williams movie, but I think it was Mrs. Doubtfire, and that movie was always special to me. And any other movie he was in. Oh. People are gone too soon. Mrs. Doubtfire, I am peeing the bed. Okay, that last one was just me, but she didn't judge me for it. When I would sleep over at her house, her mom would give me a rubber sheet to tuck into my sleeping bag, turning it into a human-sized condom. It wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but it was better than completely destroying her living room carpet. We were friends up until I was about 10. I'm not really sure what happened or why we drifted apart, but I do remember a bizarre incident during which I punched her in the vagina to see if it hurt as bad as getting punched in the balls. That little experiment might have caused her to rethink our friendship. Understandable. I'm not going to say the space in girlfriend. That's just implied. We're not going to do that no more. I met my next girlfriend when I was 11 years old, and her name was Sarah. She was a little more experimental than Kaylee, which is why I think we got along. A punch to the vagina was never out of the question. I'm pretty sure she even let me finger her once. It wasn't sexual at all. It was more just to see what was in there. I was convinced that women had hidden jewels inside of them. Call me a pussy pirate. But our friendship wasn't just about discovering each other's bodies. It was also about discovering each other's mental issues. I'm pretty sure she was schizophrenic, and I'm pretty sure I was a psychopathical liar. Her imaginary friends were way too detailed, and at one point I told her that I was actually an alien from another planet. And I believed it. Neither of us sought psychiatric counseling, but we played doctor a lot, so that balances everything out, right? We ended our friendship because I moved across town, and long-distance friendships don't really work when you're 11. This was pre-internet, so we didn't have Twitter to follow each other on. It was almost like she died, and I totally forgot about her. Wow. For the next 15 years, I had many more girlfriends. They were all different and unique in their own ways. Some of them were crazy, some were adventurous, some were in wheelchairs, but they all shared one trait. They were non-judgmental. I can't stand judgmental people. The second somebody lifts their eyebrow at a situation, I cut them out of my life. I like to live in a world where people can be whoever the fuck they want to be and say whatever the fuck they want to say. It's interesting to me, entertaining even. I'm a glorified people watcher. And there's nothing better than sitting back, no judgment of course, and watching people be themselves. It's like TV but with no commercials. Like a movie but with no annoying turn off your phone ads. Like a play but, never mind. I kind of fucking hate plays. They're the worst. It's not judgmental to say that, right? Oh well. I already said it. I can't take it back. The one girlfriend who had lasted the longest is Kate. We met when we were in 6th grade and bonded over the fact that we were both total fucking losers. That's usually how I bond with people, over a realization that we're both lame and need each other. Probably not the healthiest way to start a friendship, but hey, what friendships are really for? What friendships really all that... What friendships are really all that healthy anyways? There we go. My friendships are usually big bags of fattening potato chips with a jar of processed cheese on the side for dipping. Finger-lickingly unhealthy. Anyways, we stayed friends through middle school and high school, and she's the only friend from the past I see on a weekly basis. We lost touch slightly in high school, mainly because we both got boobs over the summer after 8th grade. Hers got her a few new cool friends, and mine kept me in the loser circle. Kate has seen me at my worst, my best, and at my, pretty much all the time, mediocre. They say friendships between boys and girls always turn romantic, no matter how hard you try to fight it. Those people are whores with no self-control. Wow, that was pretty judgmental of me. Okay, let me backtrack. I'm not going to lie. There was a moment in time where Kate and I dipped our toes into a cold, frigid, unsanitary lake of more than friends. But it lasted literally 2 hours. I remember those 2 hours vividly. I was 18, and I picked her up from her house on a Friday night like I always did. I'd just had my car washed because the night before I'd hit some kind of animal on the freeway. To this day, I tell myself it was a possum, so I can sleep at night. It was definitely a puppy, most likely a rescue, most likely owned by a child who needed it. Anyway, I honked my horn and she ran out of her house to my car like someone just blew a starting air horn at a marathon. I'm not exactly sure what was going on in her house, but it must have been pretty bad for her to bolt out like that. I'm assuming a family game of Monopoly, or worse, Yahtzee. I actually shivered as I typed that. So she got into my car and we went off to have one of our weekly adventures. These usually consisted of trips to the mall, maybe a dinner at Denny's, sometimes a movie, and always ended with watching hours of YouTube videos of people falling down and or having fatal accidents. Our favorite was a video of a baby getting hit by a bus. I promise, it was way funnier than it sounds. At dinner, we had a moment. Not like in the movies where two friends look at each other and they see more. And then they kiss each other in the rain and say things through their happy tears like, "I can't believe it took me this long to realize this," or "It's always been you." It wasn't like that at all. It was more like, I guess if we wanted to date each other, we could. Like, it would be pretty easy and convenient. We see each other all the time. I mean, we're practically married anyways. See, not that romantic. The thought wasn't totally random, though. A waitress came over and said, "Oh, you guys are a cute couple." We didn't say anything. We didn't deny it. We didn't say thank you. We just sat there. We looked at each other with, I guess, maybe, in our eyes. We talked it over a huge basket of sweet potato fries and milkshakes. Once again, I wasn't exaggerating when I said my friendships weren't healthy. "So, should we date?" I said, through my mouth full of greasy mush. "I don't know," she said with a huge drip of milkshake going from her mouth to her shirt, and then the conversation went a little something like this. "I mean, aren't we kind of already dating? I guess. My parents think they are. They also think I'm a lesbian and that you're gay. Cool. I like your parents. They're okay, I guess." Chewing, swallowing, sipping. "So, should we go on a real date? Okay. Isn't that just dinner and a movie? We kind of already did that tonight." "Well, if I would have known it was a date, I would have put on deodorant and not talked about trimming my ball hair for the first time. I can't believe you used your mom's mustache scissors to do that." "Yeah, I hope she doesn't find out." More chewing, more swallowing, and more sipping. Silence. I don't want to stop talking about your ball hair. Or stop telling you about my weird growths on my body. Me neither. Well, the ball hair thing. You can really stop about the growths. I get it, you have melanoma. Don't rub it in my face. Laughter, chewing, staring. Friends? Yeah, friends. Smiling. Pause. Loud fart. I thought that would be quieter. Nope. Everyone heard it. Awesome. Check. So after that, we never talked about it again. We weren't meant for each other in that way. We were meant for each other in a different way. She's become a member of my family, a sister of sorts. And to this day, I can't imagine my life without her. She is one of the only things in my life that is a consistent, and I cherish that. So Kate, if you're reading this, thank you for wanting to hear about my balls and not caring about my gassy stomach. But seriously, stop talking about your growths. Just go to a fucking doctor already. My Strange Addictions. One of the best TV shows ever. The smell of death and bags of pee filled my nose as I laid in silence on a crunchy plastic sheet. I was 19 and once again found myself in an emergency room hospital bed on a Sunday morning. I was used to this by now, considering I'd been there at least 6 times already that year. Before I get into why I treated the ER like a rich person's vacation home, I want to give you some backstory about an issue I've had my whole life. I'm addicted to everything. I know, a lot of people say they have a chocolate addiction because they get an extra scoop of ice cream for dessert. Or they have a shoe addiction because they have one too many pairs in their closet. I don't just get an extra scoop of Rocky Road or have too many pairs of Skechers Shape-Ups. Yes, I actually own those. Don't judge me. I am severely addicted to everything I see or touch that gives me some sense of joy. Luckily, I'm not addicted to my Skechers Shape-Ups. Those were murder on my calves and didn't give me the ass they promised in the commercial. When I was a kid, I became addicted to food, mood. And not in the typical way kids do, but in a Hoover vacuum sucking up everything in its pathway kind of way. Mood. I wouldn't just eat an Oreo, I would eat the whole box and then move on to something else. Mood. I remember at one point running out of real food, so I started eating condiments and spices. You haven't lived till you've had ketchup pepper soup. Is that just watered down ketchup and then you put pepper in it? Every time I would go to a friend's house, I couldn't even focus on the games we were playing because I was thinking about what was in their kitchen. Mood. I had one friend who had always stocked up on name brands like Pop-Tarts and Coca-Cola, unlike my house, which had generic brand breakfast bars and dark brown drink. All I could think was, why are they not all eating right now? They have so much food. If I were them, I would put a chair in front of the fridge and go at it. Preferably a chair with no armrest so I could fully let myself expand. When my mom and I would take trips to the store, she would have to drag me out of there because I would just stand in the aisles and stare at every single product. If I could have, I would have eaten the entire store, clerks and baggers included. I'm not above cannibalism. Another one of my addictions was Friends. No, not the television show about a fictional New York City that has no black people in it. Actual friends. When I met someone I liked, I would want to spend every second with them. They became my ketchup pepper soup, minus the stomach ulcers. I wanted to be at their house, hang out with their family, play with their dogs, skin them alive, and wear them as a bodysuit. That last one might be an exaggeration, but the thought did cross my mind a few times. Except I was way bigger than my friends, so I would have had to sew 2 friends together. Or maybe just wear their face as a mask. I've thought about this way too much. Every year, I would have a new friend because every year my current friend would become overwhelmed by my clinginess and stop hanging out with me. Mood. This is something that I still struggle with, but to a lesser extent. When I start feeling myself becoming addicted to hanging out with someone, I limit the amount of time I see them. I'm scared I'll fall into old habits and start thinking about how good their flesh would look on mine in that bloody skin suit. I was gonna say mood, but I don't go that far. But yeah, I've lost most of the people I've lost in my life is because I am too fucking clingy. I have a very addictive personality. So, food, phone, drawing, people, the animals, just fuck. It's hard having an addictive personality. When I was 17 years old, I had a pretty rough experience that made me want to lose all my weight and lose it fast. I was with all my friends at an amusement park, and we were going to ride the newest extreme roller coaster. I hadn't ridden a roller coaster since I was a kid, so I was super pumped to get thrown around by a machine and then vomit into the trash can filled with cotton candy wrappers afterwards. As I made my way onto the ride, I realized that the seatbelt wasn't big enough to go around my waist. I had a full-on panic attack. How could this be? I was fat, but I wasn't that fat. Well, turns out I was. One of the workers walked over and escorted me off the ride. All my friends watched as I burst into tears and was taken to the exit. That was one of the worst days of my life, and even thinking about it now makes me feel like vomiting into an amusement park trash can. That experience sent me into overdrive. I lost 150 pounds in less than a year by eating nothing but chicken and not doing nothing but running. I stopped hanging out with friends, and I stopped being able to have a normal conversation with anyone because all I wanted to talk about was weight loss and health. I literally became one of those annoying-ass clerks that you try to avoid at Whole Foods, except I wore deodorant. While I was losing the weight, I became addicted to something that was more harmful than any typical drug. I became addicted to the artificial sugar called Splenda. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh, no. Now, I know this is going to sound insane, but I'm sure you aren't going to fully believe me. But at my peak, I was eating over 250 packets of Splenda a day. Good God. That's enough to last a normal person over a year. That's 250 times more than any human should consume, considering one of the ingredients in Splenda is the same ingredient used in pool cleaning products. The addiction started when I was hanging out with a friend one day and she was sipping an iced coffee. God, I want something sweet so bad. You know how long it's been since I had sugar? It's not worth it. You look so good now. What's more important, eating ice cream or being able to see your penis? You're asking the wrong guy. Have you tried Splenda? What's that? It's fake sugar. It's pretty good. Here, I have an extra one I didn't use in my coffee. So I opened it and gave it a taste. From that moment on, life had a brand new meaning. Splenda is so fucking bad for you. My grandma uses Splenda. And oh fuck. How did I not know about this until now? This was heaven in a small paper packet. If I could, I would have dumped all of the packets in a Starbucks and made Splenda angels in the middle of the store. I started using Splenda in everything. I put it in my cereal, on my vegetables, in my iced tea, and even directly into my mouth. After 2 years or so, I got up to 2 full boxes a day, which added up to about 250 packets. I started talking about it on my YouTube channel, and kids would send me packets to my P.O. box. Boxes and boxes were kept stored in my powder-covered garage. It looked like I was involved in some kind of drug smuggling operation. I even planned out my own funeral. Instead of dropping flowers in a 6-foot deep hole before burying me, I wanted my friends and family to drop in packets of Splenda with handwritten notes on them. I like thinking about death a lot, another one of my addictions. The overdose of Splenda mixed with my unhealthy diet of chicken and vegetables and nothing else brought me to the hospital 6 times in 1 year. My life was on a downward spiral and I couldn't get a grip on it. I was constantly passing out from dehydration and having intense panic attacks that my doctor believed were side effects from too much artificial sugar and way too much caffeine. My family was always concerned, but there was nothing they could say that could change my mind. I loved that sweet poison, and I didn't care about the side effects. At one point, my skin even started to turn yellow. And not in that cute fake tenor way. In a holy shit, why is that guy yellow way? Which leads me to the specific trip to the ER, which changed everything. My skin's yellow. God, I relate too much to Shane. I don't use Splenda, but I am not healthy. In the slightest. Like, my diet is not balanced. I won't say, like, it's the whole stereotypical fat person diet of eating junk food. Like, I really love fruit. But I am very picky with vegetables. And, like, if it's not spinach, carrots, or potatoes, it can fuck off. And then, I don't like bread. And I don't like most meats. I like chicken. So, with him eating just chicken and some vegetables, it really hits home. Like, that's what I eat. That's my meal. Chicken and potatoes. Mashed potatoes. That's really fucked up. And my skin is yellow. Maybe that's why my skin's yellow. Who'd have thunk? I'm gonna look into that. That's funny. I didn't think to learn shit about myself in a Shane book. But I really do relate too much to this man. It was a hot summer day in Florida. My eyeball just stopped having vision. Okay, it was just one of them. We're good now. It was a hot summer day in Florida, and my family and I were hanging out at Disney World. I had never been there, so I was ready to see what all the hype was about. I was ready to ride some dumb rides and get stopped at a million times for pictures by Japanese tourists who thought I was Zac Efron. I also went to Disney World at an adult age for the first time in Florida. It was lovely. I had my huge iced coffee with 50 Splendas mixed in and was ready to take on the day. The thing about Florida that I wasn't aware of is that they have occasional summer rainstorms. My first thought was, oh my god, my hair. Now those Japanese tourists are going to mistake me for Vanessa Hudgens. My second thought was, oh my god, humidity. I did not do well with humidity. Not only did I hate feeling sticky, but I was already constantly dehydrated, so when it got humid outside, I would start to feel insanely lightheaded. The rain started sprinkling and my hair started frizzing. I started having a panic attack because I could feel the hot Florida air entering my lungs and sucking out all the moisture. My heart started racing because I knew that soon I was going to pass out. Every time I passed out in the past, it had been because I was overheated, and the last thing I wanted to do was pass out at Disney World and get trampled by people running to get a picture with a former convict wearing a Monsters, Inc. costume. I ran to the bathroom because I figured it would be air-conditioned. My brother followed me inside. Dude, are you okay? I just need air. I need cold air. The bathroom didn't have air conditioning, so he started splashing cold water from the sink on my face. This is when things began to get foggy, and I don't remember much of what happened next. I got so dehydrated that I went a little crazy and started acting like a child star having a breakdown in front of TMZ cameras. My brother told me later what happened, and it went a little something like that. I think the devil's in me. What? He's in me. I want him out. So I guess I took down my pants and hopped into the cold water-filled sink and started screaming obscenities. Get him out of me, I'm gonna shit him out. My mom rushed in and saw me having a total mental breakdown, so she called 911. The next thing I knew, I was waking up in a hospital room with Disney characters all over the walls. I thought I was in hell. As I lay in the hospital bed, I looked over and saw my mom asleep in the chair next to me. She looked so tired, not just tired because it was early in the morning, but tired because the constant trips back and forth to the hospital were wearing on her. I could see it in her face that all the emotional distress of seeing her son slowly die a fake sugary death in front of her was taking its toll. The doctor walked in with a clipboard and a concerned look on his face. "Hello, Shane. Hey, what's going on? So you had a bit of an episode, didn't you?" "I don't remember. Oh God, did I kill someone?" My mom always said I reminded her of one of those kids who could snap one day. "No, you passed out. You were severely dehydrated, but don't worry, we're giving you lots of fluids." "Okay, that's fine." "Fine?" "Yeah, it happens all the time. I pass out like once a month, pretty much. The ER by the house and I are friends on MySpace." "Why do you pass out? How's your diet?" Not great. I'd like you to tell me. I want to understand what's going on." "Well, I eat okay, chicken and veggies. It's the fake sugar that's kind of the situation." "How much fake sugar are you eating?" 250 packets a day, usually a couple gallons of iced tea, sometimes a 12-pack of diet soda." The expression on his face will forever be burned on my brain. He looked like he was having a "That's So Raven" vision, but instead of seeing something funny because between him and his kooky redheaded friend Chelsea, he was seeing me dead. "I know. It's pretty bad. I need you to get off that ASAP. It's extremely bad for you. How much water do you drink?" "I swallowed some by accident when I brushed my teeth." "Shane, I'm going to share something with you that I haven't told your family. When you came in today, you were so dehydrated that you were inches away from slipping into a coma. If you had waited a few more hours to come in, you would probably be in one right now." "Oh my God, really?" "Your entire insides were drier than a potato chip. Your brain was malfunctioning, which is why you were sitting in a public sink trying to shut out the devil." "What?" "It's serious, Shane. Really, really serious." That hit me hard. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about everyone in my life. If I were to end up in a coma, or even worse, dead, it would affect so many people. The taste of that sweet, sugary powder wasn't worth it anymore. I know the old saying, nothing tastes as good as being thin feels. Well, nothing tastes as good as feeling alive either. From that moment forward, I decided to get off the packet once and for all. But I want to be clear, it wasn't just the fake sugar that was causing me to go to the hospital. It was everything related to it. I was drinking gallons of iced tea every day because it tasted so good with Splenda in it. Iced tea is insanely dehydrating. Combine that with the fact that I hadn't had actual water in a year, and you get a recipe for coma. I also wasn't eating right, and hadn't been for a long time. I would starve myself and then go on binges and eat crazy amounts of frozen yogurt and ranch dressing. Not together. I'm mentally sick, but not that sick. So I started changing my diet and got on a normal routine, but the road hadn't been easy. At 26 years old, I struggle every day with my addictions. All I want to do is get a big gallon of ice cream and lie in my bed all day and watch Netflix, but I can't. I don't want my addictions to rule my life. This is a huge reason why I don't drink. I forgot how long ago this was written. Or do any kind of drugs. I can't imagine what my life would be like if I tried cocaine. I'm sure my house would be super clean, and I'd be way funnier to hang out with, but the side effects wouldn't be worth it. I think one day I might be able to have just one packet of Splenda and be okay, or have one drink and not turn into a raging alcoholic. But I'm not there yet. Right now I'm just living one daily vlog at a time. Did I mention I'm addicted to YouTube? Me too. And I'm gonna leave that there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.